Hi guys, and welcome to my Series 3 for my Hero Showcase. This will probably be the last one for this week, starting Monday. I'm going to be showing you a hero. She's a caster hero. They're caster heroes in StarCraft 2. They don't really fit the same way. They're harder to make because psionic energy is something that is special. It's not that every unit can just go out and grab psionic energy. It has to be, something believable behind a caster unit. And Terra, I think she fits pretty well. She'll be probably the only Terran caster that uses psionic energy like this, where it's unstable and uncontrollable and just dominating. Some history behind her. She's a mentally enslaved Imperial super soldier gifted with devastating psi ability. She's not human, well, at least half of her is human, but she's partially cybernetic. She has artificial, human parts in her, if you want to call that cybernetic or not. She is completely biological, but part of her is not human. They can program her like you can program a computer, and she will do whatever you want, but she still has personality. She's still human, at least partially. Anyway, onto her abilities. Her first ability, Nova. And Nova's a target. It does target damage, and then after a second or so, it does target AoE damage. And the initial damage is not as much as a normal nuke. It's about half, and the AoE damage is about half as well. And what happens after the AoE damage goes off, it applies a buff, and this buff does the target damage. So what happens is the initial damage goes off, it creates an area of effect damage, and that does damage again. But then that buff will do AoE damage, so it's a chain back and forth. So like if you have two units right beside each other, you hit the first unit with Nova, that unit will spread the Nova damage to the next unit and combust in the second unit. The second unit will grow the Nova again and hit the first unit, and it'll just keep going back and forth, back and forth. And I thought this would be overpowered at first. I really did, because the farming potential. You can just go right beside like neutral creeps and just toss a Nova on that neutral creep and just walk away and get gold for it. But I actually figured out a way to stop that. If it's not in vision, it won't go off. So I believe that this kind of caster hero has a hard time farming anyway, and it'll be a perfect ability for her. It's kind of like a plague ability. Her second ability is cryokinesis, and she uses the power of her mind to create an orb around the unit she targets, and it stuns them, locks them out of abilities. It's just a normal stun ability. It does damage over time, and there's really nothing more to say about that. It lifts them up out of the air. I didn't have that at first. I thought it was kind of too much like the Phoenix ability in the normal ladder, but it seemed kind of cool, so I was just going to do it anyway. Her third ability is an orb attack, or something similar to it, but what it does is it basically slows down the target that she hits. So it doesn't matter who it is, if she hits a target, it's going to slow it by a certain percentage. It's called neuromuscular disruption, and it's similar to anything like a taser. That's what they call the scientific term for tasering someone, is neuromuscular disruption. And so like she basically, her attacks, they'll hit a target and slow them down. Her fourth ability, and her last normal ability, is called Esper. And with Esper, she creates basically a shield around her of psionic energy, and it's so powerful it will block spells from hitting her, and it will that are negative to her, and she won't be able to be targeted by anything other than an ultimate ability. And I felt this would be really good to have as her fourth ability because, I don't want to create item dependency on the hero. I want to create it, well, it'd be a great idea to get this item, yeah. That'd be better than getting this item than that item for that hero. Yeah, I want that. But item dependency where if this unit doesn't have this item, they're gonna lose. Like, yeah, it's part of the responsibility to farm up and get that item, but what would they be doing if they had that money? Would they have a fair advantage or a fair disadvantage? And I think it was a disadvantage to have item dependencies on heroes. So what I've done is incorporated a lot of the dependent items on heroes and made them abilities, secondary abilities. This is a primary ability, but it's kind of necessary to have for her ultimate. And her ultimate really took some changing. It went through like 5 different abilities to get this the way I wanted it to. It's an area of effect ability, AoE, and it just does damage. Just whoever's in the area of the storm, they get damaged. Very simple ability. It's very powerful. Yeah, stun your opponent. What would happen is you cast Nova on your opponent, you cryokinesis them, throw them up in the air, cast Esper, and then scalar field, and do your area of effect damage. Now the problem is that they can run away from that. No, not when you neuromuscular or disruption them. So all her abilities jive together. I think a lot of people may say, this is heroes kind of like Crystal Maiden. It is a lot like Crystal Maiden, but the difference is that I broke her up and I made item dependencies completely, there's no item dependencies now with her. She may go for a blink dagger now instead of BKB, but it's a little different in this game. These kind of abilities, they'll be purgeable. Like, you can get rid of them like that. So it won't be that expensive to do that, and it won't be that expensive to buy a 5-second spell immunity item either. So there's going to be a lot of different things with the items that will change the game completely, the meta game, and that's what I'm really after. I'm after, making it a last hitting game first and foremost, and secondly, ganking game. Like, that's what it's all about, ganking and last hitting. And then at the end, when everyone's ready to attack, the team that has the advantage is going to advance on their enemy base. That's how it works. I just want it to be more balanced, I guess you could say, with the hero selection. And I want not that phase to be quicker, but not to hit endgame quicker, because the metagame is so important. That basically decides who pushes and who doesn't. So I want it to be, item dependent. I don't want item dependence, at all. So yeah, this is Terra, and she's my 3rd series hero, and this is Mud, and I'm out.